What is up, enthusiasts? It is Heater Flags here, and welcome back to another one of my videos. So in the past, I have talked so much about my unpopular opinions, and I gotta say, this is one of my favorite series on my channel. I love broadcasting these opinions, and I love hearing all of your reactions. This is such a great series I get to do, and honestly, this series can last forever, because I have so many other unpopular opinions that I am saving for the future. But today, we are going to do our 9th installment. I'm going to include 5 more unpopular opinions, some positive, some negative. And these are all relating to the theme park industry. If you haven't seen the last 8, well, I will leave a link to a playlist in the description below, so you could binge watch all of that. But anyways, let's get right into it. This is Cedar Flags, and today, we will do our 9th installment of Unpopular Coaster Opinions. The first opinion takes us to Six Flags Great Adventure in Jackson, New Jersey, a park with a lot of very strong roller coasters in its lineup like El Toro, Kingda Ka, and Jersey Devil. But a coaster that I found to be really good in its own is Green Lantern. This is a B&M stand-up coaster, and honestly, I think this ride gets so much more hate than it deserves. This was actually relocated from Kentucky Kingdom and used to be known as Chang. And many enthusiasts will say that this is one of the worst roller coasters out there. But I do have to say personally myself, I was a big fan of it. Now, I've talked about B&M stand-ups in the past being a lot less painful than what other people think, but this opinion stands very firmly at Green Lantern because I really don't know too many people that like this ride at all. Many people trash on this ride, they say it's terrible, they hate on it, but I have to say personally, this was a very, very fun coaster for me. It was very forceful, and it was pretty comfortable. Maybe not the most comfortable experience, but a lot more comfortable than some other coasters, and definitely tolerable enough for me. I cannot wait to get back to this park to ride this incredible B&M stand-up once again. For our next opinion, we are going to go to Hershey Park in Hershey, Pennsylvania. We are going to be talking about one of their 3 major Intamin coasters, Storm Runner. This came out back in 2004 as one of the first Intamin accelerators in the United States. And even though this ride has its fans, I walked off of this ride pretty disappointed compared to some of the other rides I got to go on at Hershey Park. Now, I've went to this park for the first time in 2020, and this ride was SB&O for the time being. But I revisited this park on my big road trip in 2022, and getting in the line, I was stoked. And once I got on this ride, I said to myself, yeah, that really wasn't as intense as I was expecting. Going through the ride, the first launch is a hydraulic launch, and maybe it's my fault for expecting a little too much from those, because the launches on rides like Dragster and Kingda Ka are some of my favorite elements of all time. Getting on Storm Runner's launch, it seemed a lot less forceful than some of those other launches. It felt more like an LSM kick, more than a hydraulic kick. Now, the top hat is a phenomenal element within its own, but the rest of the elements, including the snake dive, are pretty forceless compared to what I was expecting. Now, this ride is still a very good ride in my opinion, just not what other people say. Now, if you want a very good Intamin with inversions at this park, go over to Fahrenheit. That is easily my favorite inverting coaster at this park, for now, and this ride still stands today as one of my favorite Intamins of all time. For my third opinion of the day, I want to talk about roller coasters in general. Now, we all love roller coasters. In fact, that's the reason you're watching this video right now, because I'm an enthusiast and you're probably an enthusiast as well. But there is an unpopular opinion that I have with roller coasters as a whole. It is that I think that some water slides can be just as fun as roller coasters. If you don't know me, I am a huge water park enthusiast. I love going out of my way to go to some water parks. Now, I think most of the time roller coasters are better than water slides, but it is very, very close. There are some water slides out there that are just as good as some of the best coasters I've ever been on, especially body slides. I love body slides. And raft slides are okay, but the real thing that attracts me to these water parks are the body slides, especially the trapdoor slides. 2 great examples of water slides in this category are Vanish Point at Adventure Island in Tampa, Florida, the Busch Gardens Tampa Water Park, and Thrill-A-Gas-Car and Jungle Jammer at DreamWorks Water Park in New Jersey. These are 2 drop capsule water slides, and all of these slides have such a thrill and such a sensation of weightlessness. It truly is a great experience. And honestly, the thrill I feel on some water slides would compare to some roller coasters. I made a whole video talking about comparing and contrasting roller coasters and water slides, so if you're one of the 0.001% that agree with me, let me know your thoughts on that video. For our next opinion, we are going to go all the way down to the beautiful state of Florida to talk about the one and the only Universal Islands of Adventure. This park blew my mind the first time I went here. This park is just overrun with scenery and perfect attractions, and some of the theming here is next to none. But there was a ride here that I heard a lot of hate from. Not necessarily hate, but let's just say, if this ride was removed, not many people would be disappointed. Poseidon's Fury is actually a walkthrough attraction, not necessarily a ride, but it comes pretty close. And if you don't want any ride spoilers, I would suggest you go to this timestamp. But for the people that are still here, let's walk through the ride. You first have this incredible pre-show, and then you walk through this incredible tunnel of water. You could feel the mist coming onto you, and everything about it is just so magical. I think it might be one of the most incredible aspects of theming I have ever seen at a park ever. Being in that tiny little room and the lights going off, and just a few seconds later you're in this giant coliseum where a battle of water and fire commence. It truly is an incredible spectacle, and even though there really aren't any physical thrills, you are on the edge of your seat, even though you're standing up, watching this attraction unfold. But overall, I think this is one of the best experiences at Islands of Adventure. Now, my main unpopular opinion with this is that I would actually put it on par with some of the dark rides at the park like Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey and the Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man. I would say that all three of these attractions are pretty much on par and have very few differences when it comes to how much I like them. For our final opinion, with Superman the Ride. This hypercoaster opening up in 2000 opened up to rave reviews, but nowadays, I would say the hype that this ride gets is a former shell of what it used to get. And many people put that blame on the restraints. Commonly called U-bricks, these restraints are pretty disliked in the coaster community. In fact, I've talked to some enthusiasts that say that this ruins the entire ride for them. Many people say the layout's great, the airtime is great, but the restraints will keep this coaster out of their top 50 or 100. And man, I really don't get that. Because even though these restraints aren't completely perfect, they are not bad whatsoever. If I were to either have this or the RMC restraints, I would easily pick the U-bricks. And I don't even hate the RMC restraints. It's just that many people say that these are very painful and very uncomfortable, and I really did not find that side with these restraints. Now, they are not as good as T-bars, and I will say that very confidently. They are a lot bigger, and you do feel a slight pinch on some of those bigger airtime moments. But the pinch really is not any worse than some of the other restraints airtime moments as well. I feel more pinch in a clamshell. And this is truly one of the opinions I don't get. But I will always respect people's opinions no matter what they are, as long as they are not hurtful to others. With that all being said, Superman the Ride has got to be one of my favorite roller coasters of all time. It's in my top 3 Intamins and my top 10 coasters overall. And I cannot wait to get back to this park again. But let me know what you thought in the comments below. Let me know if you agreed or disagreed with some of these opinions, and let me know what other opinions that you have. This is Cedar Flags, and I'll see you all later.